Welcome to the Mid-Atlantic Bad Takes. Shouting loud, no time for breaks. Feel the fire, the pulse, the stakes. This is where the world shakes. Welcome to the Mid-Atlantic Bad Takes.
We're finally back with an episode here. We're going to talk some trade deadline. There's been some big moves made, but first, Brady's back. We'll talk some O's after All-Star break and what we've seen, and then we'll dig into some trade deadline pieces that we think need to happen. So Brady, I mean, before the trade deadline, you kept saying we need to go like 8-4. 8-4 and or 4-8 to really know a direction. They went 6-6. That's kind of like how the season's been. It's just mediocrity, just up and down.
So before the All-Star break, I was like, we gotta get like 8-4, but we went 6-6. And honestly, the Orioles have continued to just be this team that is so consistently inconsistent. It's so frustrating. Because they've never been out of it, especially with the way the AL's been this year. They've always been just like on that little bubble of like 1 or 2 games out of the wild card, but they haven't been able to put it together. And I will say July has been a lot better, especially. I mean, the pitching has been great, and I think it's funny because we all had like a lot of questions about the pitching going into the season, and everybody was questioning the pitching. Nobody was questioning the offense. But the pitching this year, with the exception of, those first like April and then like the first like half of May, the pitching has been fantastic.
Yeah. Starting pitching, I mean, Rogers was rocky after like those first 3 starts, went on the injured list and came back. He's looked good. Young's been doing great. I mean, the starting pitching, the only issue we have there, though, we're a little thin just because of the injuries that have mounted up. So that's one aspect of why are we trading Deaton Kramer? Because, I mean, the injuries are there. And to be quite honest, we just haven't been healthy, consistently in the starting rotation all season. So I don't know why you want to deal, because there's not a lot of depth. Because I think we've proven besides Young, when everyone else we called up from the minors just hasn't clicked, or hasn't been able to give like a Dean Kramer-esque kind of push where it's like, hey, he can go 5 innings, give up 3 to 4. We're in a game.
Yeah,
I feel. So that's my one issue there. The bullpen, I mean, Cano's looked fantastic. So he's back. There's been some bright spots, but at the same time, injuries like Kittredge, Helsley, we've had some big time injuries there as well. So that's one aspect of like, why are we trading from the pitching that we currently do have at the big league level when all these injuries are happening? You can't trust that's going to continue, that they'll stay healthy. Offensively, Pete Alonso's Pete Alonsoing, which is awesome. It's what we signed him for, and I'm happy he's clicking and proving that was definitely a good signing on our part. Now, the big issue is, like you've brought this up before, is we need a consistent starting lineup. I know that injuries have happened, especially a catcher this month, but you can't play this game of Jackson Holiday in and out of the lineup. And you can't do the same thing with Mayo and all this other stuff. So what are your thoughts kind of on the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, the lineup, again, we've been saying it all year. I just want that consistent lineup. I actually haven't looked at the lineup for this game today, so I'm going to do that right now. See what we've got.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Like, if you're going to hoard the top prospects,
No, absolutely.
Play
Like
them. Play them.
you gotta play. If you're gonna tell me that like, oh, we're building around this young core, and then you don't play the young core, what are we doing here? Like I that's the thing that's so frustrating to me is like Elias has always preached about the young core that they're building around, and then like we have never had a manager play the young core consistently, and it's
Well,
like,
it's been
yeah,
two pieces of that young core. It's Gunnar Henderson and Natalie Grotcher. And I
yeah,
get they're the two big pieces of the young core, but we just hoarded a lot of the other young core,
yeah.
and we are not playing them consistently. It's like, what's the point? Because now, like, I mean, it just proves that we enter into bad contracts sometimes. You know, Tyler O'Neill, when we sign them because we're not playing the young core consistently, and we say we need this in the lineup, and O'Neill's not providing it. We made the trade for Ward. I mean, this point looks like a really good trade on us because Grayson Rodriguez just cannot figure out how to stay healthy.
Well, yeah,
But
I will say like it is the trade for Ward is, that was fine. Grayson Rodriguez. Oh, I wishing him the best. Hopefully he can, you know, turn a page at some point and come back to be what he used to be. If not, then maybe he can like, be a dominant arm in the bullpen at some point. But yeah, it's like the lineup's been inconsistent. I know Holiday as of late, they seem to be like, okay, you know what, Holiday is gonna be our second baseman. Especially, they played him yesterday against a really hard lefty, which I liked. Um, but yeah, it's like Cowser is your best defensive outfielder. He is your best choice at center fielder at this point. And do you know what? Elodie Taveras has been great this year. He is a ball player's ball player. Do you know what Elodie Taveras cannot do? He cannot hit left-hand pitching. I don't know why the guy is a switch hitter. He is his at bats versus lefties are ugly. They are. I mean, he was up twice yesterday with the bases loaded. With the bases loaded, he was up twice, and he struck out both times. And it's like at that point, just put Cowser in. Like I'd rather have Cowser's defense. If Cowser's going to do the same thing, you know. Although I honestly think Cowser has shown that he can come through in big moments. So I honestly would trust Cowser a little bit more than Elodie Taveras there. But like, if Cowser's going to do the same thing, or Elodie Taveras is going to do the same thing as Cowser, and just suck against left-handed pitching, then like just put Cowser in. Stop playing these matchups, okay? Like,
yeah,
if,
I think Tavares needs to
yeah,
pull a Cedric Mullins and just stick to batting
yeah,
from one side of the plate and just
yeah. It's like
go with it.
if you're gonna tell me, oh, we gotta trust the analytics on this. Well, you know what the analytics are telling me? They're telling me that Lodi Tavares can't hit left pitching. So why do we play? That's the frustrating thing to me. It's like, oh, we gotta play right-handers versus left-handers, and it's like, yeah, but
Well, I
let's
mean,
look.
here's the thing. You look at those Buck Showalter lineups.
Yeah,
Chris Davis wasn't on the bench against the lefty. Chris Davis is in the lineup. Mark Trumbo wasn't on the bench against the righty. Cruz wasn't on the like. You gotta
yeah,
play your guys.
and it's like, how many times has a lefty come through on the lefty situation? Case in point, the first game against the Phillies, Gunnar Henderson probably had the best hit of his season. It's a bases clearing triple. That was lefty lefty, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
you're never gonna be able to hit lefties unless you see lefties.
yeah,
I just feel like everybody who is around like the Baltimore like baseball scene, like all the reporters, all the podcasters, whatever, it's just I feel like everybody says it. I just don't I just don't know what the philosophy is there.
yeah. I just we're too analytically driven. I think is what is happening. I mean, I don't know if you heard Verlander, but during the All Star game, but he was telling the reporters, he's like, there's some good things that come that can come out of analytics, but when the analytics people are telling you, oh, this is a great pitch because of the spin rate, and you keep throwing it and it keeps getting knocked around like crazy for base hits and homers, You got to be able to realize that's
Yeah.
not working, no matter what the analytics people tell you.
Yeah.
Because if you keep throwing it and it's not doing anything to benefit you,
Well,
what's the point?
I've heard like Ben McDonald and Jim Palmer say things about like, you know, they hate when if you've got a pitcher who has a slider with you know, like a below 100 batting average against it, and then you've got a guy who, you know, can knock the stuffing off of sliders. You still throw the slider, you know, like you still got to trust your best pitch. Like, but then what do? They avoid it. They avoid the slider because all the analytics say that this guy hits sliders. It's like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. So besides that, I mean, this trade deadline crap. Oh my gosh. Dean Kramer, I salute you for your service. Thank you for being a consistency in the Baltimore rotation. Mike Elias did you dirty, and at least you made the Manny Machado trade viable for as long
Yeah.
as possible here in Baltimore to make it think it wasn't a worthless trade. Dean Kramer, we appreciate you. But Mike Elias, the fuck are we doing, man?
It's so like for me, I just think that it was a dump of like, okay, they had Dean for another year or two of control, I'm pretty sure, probably just a year.
I think this is his last season, but
I
I
think
think
like
we could have extended him fairly
yeah.
cheaply. I think.
No, what I'm saying is like I think he had one more year of arbitration because when I was looking at the trade, I read that the Twins have another year on him after this year, so he's not a rental for the Twins. But I just think that like he had one more year of arbitration, and I just think the Orioles were ready to move off of him for some reason. I disagree. I think you always know what you're gonna get with Dean. Like I know he has not been stellar this year. He's been injured, and then you know, obviously he's had some ugly starts as of recently. But I don't think there was a better like fifth guy option. You know, I mean, we have what's his name is coming back from the injury list.
Bassett.
Bassett, thank you. Um, Bassett hasn't looked great this year either, though. So it's like, would I want Dean Kramer or Bassett? I think I'm gonna go with Dean Kramer, especially when I know that Bassett has that ability, that bullpen flexibility.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
What I don't want to see this trade deadline is what Dan Duquette did in 2013 and 15 and 17 when we were tweeners. You know, we weren't atop the division. We're in this wild card chase, but at the same time, you know, you're also not in the wild card chase, if that makes sense. Where it's like the
yeah.
other teams are kind of outpacing you and they're
Well,
getting
so
healthy as well. But I
that
know,
is like
yeah, it's just
that's
Dan
kind
Duquette made
of
some bad trades in those times.
yeah, that's kind of what Elias like said at his last press conference is he was like, they're gonna be sellers and buyers. And so what I think that means is that, you know, rentals and guys on 1 year contracts like, you know, Taylor Ward, probably Andrew Kittredge, I could see them being on the trading block.
Tavares.
Tavares, I personally do not think Elias is going to get rid of any major piece. Like I kind of think that Dean Kramer will be the biggest name gone in terms of like, you know, a long-term stapled Oriole. I you know, I know a lot of people are saying Adley Rutschman. I don't really see it. Um,
I don't see Adley going unless some team is
well,
saying, here's 4 of my top 10 prospects that are, and like
yeah,
2 or 3 of them are in the top 100. Take them.
yeah,
We want Adley that bad.
yeah. Like I could see that, But for me though, like even then, like Adley Rutschman, a trade for Adley Rutschman has to be not only are you giving me a top prospect, you are giving me a major league ready bat. You know,
Yeah.
like because we're not, you know, according to Elias, we're not in a rebuild anymore. So it's like I don't give a fuck about having top prospects. What I care is having a major league ready team to go out and compete. So if you're trading Adley Rutschman, that means I'm going to get a major league ready bat who's going to impact the lineup because that's what we're losing. We're losing a bat that impacts the lineup. Um, but yeah, Ward, I think he's actually pretty attractive to teams going out there. I personally really want him off the team. To me, he's the most disappointing, most frustrating at bat. Um, I could pull up his splits to give you more accurate numbers, but like his numbers against or his numbers when there's a runner in scoring position or two outs and a runner on base are atrocious. He's batting like sub 200 in like all of those categories. And for a guy who was sold to be like that clutch hitter to hit with the running in position, he's just been awful. Like I know he's got the on base thing and that's great. Um, and like his numbers when there's nobody on base, he's actually hitting like 260, 270. But if there's anybody on base, or if it's the ninth inning and all we need is a run, Ward is not the guy.
Yeah.
And I just don't. People always talk about like, oh, we should, push Gunner down in the lineup. We should do this. We should. But then it's like, put Ward down in the lineup. Put him at the number 7 spot. You know he's not going to do anything.
Yeah. It's
And
analytics.
especially when,
It's the analytics. That's all it is.
especially in a season where like we have never had a consistent lineup, having Ward be the must everyday guy with Gunner and Alonso is just that's to me is a head scratcher because he's not to me has not proven to warrant that everyday at bat.
Yeah.
And
No,
it's not
so
like his defense is saving us on shit. Like he's not the worst outfielder we've had this season, but he's definitely not the top 3.
yeah. Well, he should put him in right field,
Yeah.
in all honesty. But to me, so Adam Jones got moved into the leadoff spot by Buck, I think, one year. Like it was 16 or 17, something like that. Because he was in a funk a little bit, and Buck put him leadoff to get him out of the funk. Why not put Gunner leadoff?
Yeah.
And
They
see
did
if
put
that can
Gunner-
help him get
yeah.
out of the funk.
They did put Gunner leadoff for a little bit, and then they dropped him back down again. I don't know. Gunner, as of late, he's been looking a little bit better. So I'm hoping that this is like a turn the page moment for him. Obviously, yesterday the game was versus a really hard lefty. But he actually was one of the few hits we actually managed to get off of him. So yeah, Gunner to me, I'm hoping this last final stretch of the season we can start to see Gunner like turn that page.
Yeah, well, Holiday's heating up too. So it's like,
Yeah.
why not go with Gunner, Holiday, Alonso kind of in the top 3 and just ride it
Yeah.
a little bit and see if that sparks anything?
Yeah,
That's the
I
thing.
wouldn't mind Holiday leading off. I also like Holiday when they play him at the number 9 spot to be that like guy that flips the lineup over. But I like Beavers. I really like because Beavers has been the leadoff guy the last few series since he's been back, and I like his approach. I like that. Like I remember the one game he led off the game and he had like a 9 pitch at bat to lead off the game, and like that's great. Like that's the way to help your team. Make this
Oh,
pitcher
yeah.
throw you everything, and then your teammates get to see that. Like
Well, you know what he just did? He probably talked himself into some trade talks because Elias doesn't like when these prospects start heating up. Like this, like he's not supposed to be part of this young core. That's supposed to be performing like this. We got to get rid of him.
I still, like I said, I don't see any big moves like moving off of any prospects this year. I think if I'm Mike Elias, my plan is probably I'm gonna go out and get some to fortify the bullpen arms, like to get the bullpen out that we actually need. Even though the bullpen again has been better than advertised this year, they've gone through some stretches where they've been ugly, but for the most part, they've actually been pretty solid, especially in the last like month or so. Um, but I do think the Elias goes out and gets some bullpen help, and then like obviously in terms of pitching, we've got Bassett coming back. You've got Gibson's in AAA, and as is oh, what's his name?
Nunez,
Yeah, I'm talking about starting pitching.
starting pitching. No, Povich.
Povich, yeah. You got Gibson and Povich in AAA. And you've got Bassett coming back. So I don't know if I don't foresee him going out and getting a starting pitcher. You know, if he
So
does, I don't think it would be,
here's, yeah.
a big
Oh,
trade.
I think we can pull off a big trade. So here's my thought process on this. We extended Boz start of the season. We just extended Bradish, and we extended Cano. So you extended two pieces of a young rotation. You got Young for a while in that rotation. Traded Kramer's. I wish Kramer was going to be a part of it, but not anymore. You got Cano to kind of help solidify the back end of the bullpen because you got the Mountain, Felix Bautista coming back, hopefully within the next month. I want to make a splash because at some point you got to realize we cannot field 7 outfielders on the big league roster. It can't happen. You can't have 7 outfielders on the 26-man roster. I want to see us pull the trigger on a Hunter Green trade. That's just me. I think if you bring in Hunter Green, that sends a signal that we want to win for now and the future. Now, Hunter Green just came back from injury. Rough couple starts, but when you look at his track record, that dude's just flamethrower, strikes people out, goes 6-7 innings game striking people out. I want to see us make that move because I just, how long are we going to hoard prospects that we're going to call up that are going to get what? 3 at-bats a week and not be able to do anything because they're not going to get any playing time. And then we send them back down to AAA, bring them back up for a week, and then send them back down, and then we DFA them off the 40-man. Like, why not trade while the value is high? That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I personally like there's a lot of names on our 40-man roster. I just don't I think they should have been gone years ago. So, I mean, Keston Kerstad's one of them. I think he's been doing really well in AAA this year and has not been called up. So that's a name. I just, there's obviously no room on him for this lineup, because he's seen as a guy who can play right field and DH, and he's mostly like a DH, right? But you also signed Sammy Basayo, who, unless you're going to tell me Sammy, if you're going to move off of Adley and make Sammy your everyday catcher, then okay, then that opens up your DH spot. But also,
yeah, that's not a good idea. That's not
I
a
don't
good
think
idea.
it's a
He's
good
not
idea.
going to be a full season catcher. Yeah.
I personally think that's why I liked the Sammy Adley combo, in that, you had Adley going 2 of 3 catching, and then Sammy picks up the third game, but Sammy's DHing most of the time, So
Yeah. No, and we just made a bunch of minor league moves. So like Figueroa, Aloy, we just moved up to Double A, the middle
Mhm.
infielders there. Reed Trimble, another one of those outfield prospects that's in Triple A. Like, so we're moving some of these top prospects. We're moving up. Some of them are just stuck at Triple A. I mean, you got a glut of outfielders.
Yeah.
Like Bradfield, he should be getting an audition. I think we can both agree at least.
I
Just to see
honestly,
what we got.
yeah, I do think that if Taylor Ward gets dealt, if Peloti Tavares gets dealt, one or both, I do think that the corresponding move to that is to call Bradfield up. Probably move Cowser over to left, Bradfield in center, and then you'll have probably Beavers and O'Neill kind of doing the right field.
Yeah, hopefully Bradfield gets the call at some point. But I mean, God, hey man, like just when you're looking at our top prospects, you got Nate George, Aaron Estrada, Mike Irish, Bradfield, Jordan Sanchez, Thomas Sosa, James Loray, Amnardo Reyes, TJ Layton, Steven Martinez. Like, we have so many outfielders. That's so many. Now,
Yeah.
one thing I've never seen before is a ton of starting pitching in the top 30. That's a lot of pitching on the prospect list. That's never happened before.
Well,
That's a sight to see.
I think that you can go back to probably last year's trade deadline when Mike Elias just like got a bunch of like pitching prospects.
Austin Bateman, yeah, was one of them. Yep. But I don't know. Really, what I want to see, Mike Elias needs to realize you can't keep all of your draft picks.
Yeah,
it's not possible. As much as this is not the NFL where you can just build your entire team off draft picks.
and
actually, there's not enough room.
Especially too, it's like let's go back and look at the trades that Mike Elias has made, starting with the Corbin Burns trade. Is any Oriole fan gonna say, "Oh man, I really wish we had"? I don't even remember their names. DL Hall and
it was Dio Hall and Joey Ortiz.
Yeah.
I think there's a good chunk of them that are like, we should have included Westberg instead of Ortiz in that deal because at least Ortiz is playing.
Yeah, but yeah, is anybody gonna say, "Oh man, for 1 year of Corbin Burns, I really wish we had those two on the team"? No, obviously that year with Corbin Burns was great. Like,
yeah, no, Corbin Burns was.
Would have loved to see them. Yeah, would have loved to see them sign him. Obviously, in hindsight, he got Tommy John and has not pitched for Arizona.
Yeah,
dodged a bullet there. But then also, and then the other trade we can go to is
Rogers.
for Trevor Rogers. And then Connor Norby's been all right for the Miami, and then but the big one, Stowers. I always said they never gave Stowers a shot, and Stowers is one of those outfielders where it's like, I kind of wish it was another prospect. I wish we had kept Stowers and traded Kerstad, or I love Cowser. Don't get me wrong, maybe we're trade Cowser. But
I mean, the thing was Cowser's defense.
Yeah,
you can't. Stowers does not have the defensive capabilities of Cowser. So I think what Elias was thinking is Cowser at least can play strong defense. Stowers cannot. But at the same time, guess what? Stowers just proved he could be an all-star.
Yeah.
And actually hit for home runs. Like,
I swear. So Stowers has been hurt a little bit this year, but he's on my fantasy team, and I think for like the last week or so, I feel like every single day I get a notification that he hit a home run. Like, That dude, he can rake. But again, I know going back to that, but again, like the Trevor Rogers trade, now we're looking at like, okay, there is a bit of I kind of wish Trevor Rogers or not Trevor, I kind of wish Stowers was still here. But am I gonna fault Elias for making that trade? No, because Trevor Rogers has been our best pitcher over the last 2 years. You know, barring
Year
that
and a
one
year and
3 game.
we'll say past year. He was hurt for the first half last year, and
Yeah,
before that, we optioned him to the minors after
yeah.
3 starts after we traded
Either
for him.
way, yeah. Either way, though, Trevor Rogers has been fantastic for us. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like this is what my point being here is that like Elias Horse prospects, but like when he makes a trade and actually pulls the trigger, it's worked out.
It's worked out, but at the same time, we've lost value on them because they were all called up to the major league roster, did not get playing time, could not perform because it was
Yeah,
not consistent, and they lost value. So I'm not faulting those trades, and I'm not saying those were bad trades because they ended up being good. But just imagine if we realized we did not have room for them on the big league roster and
yeah,
they were crushing it in AAA. They all were. They were all fantastic in AAA. We could have gotten a little more, maybe
yeah,
maybe a bigger name. Now, I'm not saying Screwball, but I'm just like, there's potential where you could have gotten someone like a Wheeler, if that makes sense. Someone on that level. Now, Corbin Burns, ace pitcher, he was only here for a year, right? It was basically a rental for a year. And that was an ace pitcher. Awesome trade. Rogers, we had control over. We had basically 2.5 seasons of control over him, and we only gave up 2 guys. But at the same time, Stowers is making that trade look like for a win for the Marlins type deal. It's
yeah.
not like it's not like there's a true winner, true loser. I mean,
Right.
we've gotten something pretty good. Marlins also got something out of that trade.
Yeah.
Now, I will say those trades with the Rays when we got Eflin and Boz, those are the ones that I'm terrified of coming back and biting us in the butt at some point. We gave up a ton.
Yeah.
Like,
I
we
mean,
didn't
the
give up
Eflin
near as much
Yeah.
for those other 2 trades as we did with the Rays.
and the Eflin trade too, like a lot. Like the other thing, like the Eflin trade, nobody really talks about. Like the people we gave up, 'cause a lot of them were younger, and a lot of them were ways away. So that to me, that's why I think people like on the service, people are like, "Oh, we paid way more for Rogers than we paid for Eflin." I was like, "Well, we gave up more potential for Eflin."
Mm-hmm. Like for
Um,
Rogers, we gave up big week pieces. We called him up. We just didn't have
Yeah.
space for him, and we couldn't play him every day. And at some point, you got to move people off the roster. And instead of designating people and not getting anything, at least you can get something, salvage something out of those guys. But I don't know. I'm really hoping that we kind of do this retool, I would say, this season. We could still be able to compete, but at the same time, we're not going all in. Like Dan Duquette would go all in when we were tweeting, and we lost a Cy Young pitcher and Jake Arrieta. Now I know he wasn't going to be Cy Young with the Orioles, but it just proves how terrible we were at developing starting pitching. When Jake Arrieta goes and wins a Cy Young for Scott Feldman, who was terrible in that last half, and Steve Clevenger, who did nothing. The only thing he did was give us Mark Trumbo in 2016 in that trade. But we made that trade. I will defend the Bud Norris trade. Bud Norris was solid in 2014 and that 2013. And I mean, Josh Hader was in Delmarva, and that was the only piece. Like LJ Hose didn't do anything in the big leagues. Hader was in Delmarva. I don't think anyone was banking on him to be this elite closer.
Right.
So I will defend that Bud Norris trade because he did give us some good value back, and he pushed us into the ALCS. He was a reason why we were in the ALCS in 2014. And then we traded Zach Davies for Gerardo Parra. Parra was hurt, only played for like a week and got hurt the rest of the season. Zach Davies for 5 to 6 seasons was a number 4 or 5 starter. So we missed out on that. I'll defend the Andrew Miller trade because Andrew Miller was a 8-inning weapon like nobody's business, but we lost Eduardo Rodriguez in that trade. So when you look at that, I mean, we gave up some big time pitching, and then we lost Jonah Heim when we traded him for Tim Beckham. Tim Beckham was great for that month of August. Golly day, he was the MVP in August in the AL. I think everyone would say dude hit like over 300, hit some bombs, but was worthless after that. So lost an all-star catcher. We traded away 3 rotation pieces that would have been solid. Like Erod would have been a solid 2-3. Arrieta wins the Cy Young. Zach Davies would have been on the back end. Like, I don't want to see us do those dumb trades when we're tweening like that.
No, I don't. I don't think, based on what the last conference or press conference or whatever, when last time Elias talked to the media, it just didn't seem like they were putting all their chips in for this year. Like, to me, it's gonna be, like you said, like a retool. Like, they're gonna sell and buy, but they're definitely like, I feel like everybody that they're gonna like move off of, like a Taylor Ward or whoever, the person they're gonna get, at least I would hope, is gonna be either they're gonna be a major leaguer who we have control over, or they're gonna be, prospects. And I think that it's gonna be a retool kind of thing.
Yeah. I think with Ward, I would just take the bullpen help. If it's a AAA bullpen guy where you have control over.
Give me a bullpen arm that I have like 2 to 3 years of control.
Like I don't think we're gonna get a ton out of our rentals. Ward's gonna go to a team that's desperate for outfield hitting. That they're just desperate because the outfield's not performing offensively, and they just need someone that can at least provide something of value.
Honestly, they're gonna go to a team that needs some on base help.
Yeah.
I
mean, Tavares is one I'm going to be sad to see go because he's the only one that can actually freaking bump the ball and small ball this crap and help us at least with runners in scoring position, move people over and get us opportunities. So that one's going to sting a little bit. But, yeah, with those guys, I would just be happy with getting bullpen prospects or just some bullpen arms where it's just like, hey, we just need you to have like a 3-something ERA and just like be able to put up a clean inning, every 3 out of 4 drives or something just to stabilize the bullpen a little bit.
But yeah, and like truly, if they are gonna make a big splash, like you said, like the Hunter Green, or maybe another controllable arm for the future, to me that trade's gonna come through our farm system. I don't see anybody on the major league roster right now. I mean, they might include,
maybe with the Reds they might take Tavares, because he's cheap, and maybe they feel like he's a good extension piece we can have. Like you could probably extend him.
Yeah, but like,
I don't think anyone's extending Ward. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be prospect help.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, yeah, to me, I don't truly see the Orioles making any type of big splash. I mean, I would like to see them go get a controllable arm. That would be nice. Especially now that you moved off of Kramer. And Bassett is obviously not here next year.
And Rogers is going to be a free agent. We're probably not going to.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see a Rogers extension, especially because he's been saying multiple times this year that he wants to be extended. He would like to be an Oriole.
Yeah. Well, his most recent one just said, "I'm gonna pitch my way until the end of the season, put myself in the best position possible to when the off season comes, I can make the move I want." Yeah. He wants to put himself in where I mean, that's a good thought process to have. If I do my best, then I have all the chips in my corner and I can pick the
Yeah.
team pretty much because
I
everyone's going to be
did.
bidding on me.
Yeah. I did hear him say, to asking if he were to get traded at the deadline. Um, he said that like if he got traded at the deadline, that the Orioles would be amongst the teams that he would be looking at free agency.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I mean,
yeah,
Corbin Burns was the same way, but Corbin Burns wanted to move back home to Arizona. I mean, Arizona wasn't even trying to bid on Burns. Burns really just wanted to go back to Arizona and be close to home.
I mean, he still got the deal that he wanted. So
yeah, no, but yeah, I mean, Rodgers is definitely our biggest trade piece, and maybe that's where we get value back. Maybe that's where the Hunter Green trade comes in. It becomes a three-way trade, basically, where the prospects we would get back for Rodgers go to the Reds. So we don't have to give up as much as our own prospects, since Michael Elias doesn't like trading our prospects. So it's like, okay, maybe we make it a 3-team deal. Rodgers goes here. The prospects you were going to give us go to the Reds, and we throw in 1 or 2 of our guys. They go to the Reds, and we get Hunter Green type deal.
yeah,
Maybe that's the way it all works out. So I mean, Emerson, Hancock, Hunter Green would be the top 2 of my wish list where they're controllable, and those are win now moves, even though you're retooling, because that's the future. You're establishing like we're going to build, like, to me that signifies we really need to start building around the young core. Here's this rotation that is solid, and we can help us get there. You know, if Holiday's still here, Adley's still here, Henderson's still here, those are 3 guys. Cowser, Beavers, you got Pete Alonso, Basayo DHing. Hopefully Bradfield's up at that time. Hopefully Tyler O'Neill just gets DFA'd in the offseason. You don't have to.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, those are just like, we make stupid moves and then we lock ourselves in. That's what Elias has done. Like Elias, you can't give the young guys a chance if you keep signing people to haul into place on the roster.
Well, especially when you're giving these guys like sweetheart, like Tyler O'Neill, you give him a 3-year deal and give him the player option for those 3 years, like, or Halsey.
Mm-hmm.
You give him that 2 years with the player option. Like, obviously Halsey's opting in for next year. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Although I still think that's a better signing than the Tyler O'Neill signing.
Oh, I mean, yeah. But here's the thing. Helsley would probably have at least some trade value to someone. You know, I could see the Brewers freaking being just like, oh yeah, we can fix him back up and turn him into this giant weapon in the bullpen. Like, I can see the Brewers doing that.
Yeah, I mean, he's been pretty solid this year when he's been healthy. I think there's been a few times he's only blown 1 save, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's looked pretty good. I mean, but the big thing is how many save situations have the Orioles really been in this season? Like, yeah, I don't know, but I think this trade deadline is going to be more telling, because if Elias just stands pat, then that just tells me more that he's giving up more than anything. I'm like, you can't stand pat at this deadline. Like, we got to get something back, but we also got to go. If there's a chance to go big game hunting, let's go hunting. Let's make that big trade. Let's do it. Let's pull it off. Like, let's signify that you already extended these pitchers. Like, let's keep it going. Like, let's prove this is the rotation we want leading the way, and we got these young bats coming up through the minors to help build around it. Let's do it. Like, let's not just sit around like we've done the past couple off seasons and say, oh, we can just sign the 40-year-old and everything will be fine. Guess what? The 40-year-olds have gotten hurt every single time you signed them, and they haven't done anything of value. So, I don't know. Elias just needs to buckle down and I do want to go big game hunting. I'm not like I wasn't saying go get Scooball, but I'm saying let's get Hunter Green. Let's do it. Like let's make something happen. Emerson Hancock. Let's make something happen. These guys want to put him out there. Let's bite it. Let's do it. Let's make something happen, Elias. It's not hard.
Yeah. No,
We've done it
I'm with you.
with Corbin Burns.
It's
Do it.
what I don't want to see is I don't want to see just us getting a bunch of prospects back for some people and then like, it's like great. Now we have like 8 more prospects in the farm system. But I don't want to see like I don't want to see him move off of any like like I don't want to see him move off of an Adley Rutschman, or someone who we still have control over who like who can help us win next season. I don't want to see any of that. And then like again, like I don't really want to see us remain stagnant too. I do think we should need to go out and get value for the Lodi Tavares and the Taylor Ward and whoever else, probably Andrew Kittredge.
Yeah.
Well,
here's the thing. I think Kittredge is one where your value is probably going to be like if you want guys back, then it's probably going to be like those 18, 19-year-old Dominican guys.
Yeah.
More than anything, which is fine. Take the risk if that's what gets you more players back for Kittredge because he's not going to be high value. I don't think he's going to get you what you want. Let's go at like for him, go after those young guys that you think might be something in 5 years. For Ward and Tavares, that's where you get your bullpen help at the big league level more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where you can rebuild your bullpen. Trevor Rogers is the one where you can get some decent value back. And I'm calling it. I want to see it. 3-team trade. Wherever Rogers goes, give those prospects to the Reds. Give me Hunter Green. I will take Hunter Green out of that. That's a win deal. I will take it. And then if you're able to re-sign Trevor Rogers, that makes it even better. After that.
Yeah. That'd be nice. Yeah, that would like again, if we're gonna buy this in this trade deadline, we need to get rid of some of the the outfield clog in our AAA system. And we need to go get some like controllable arms. I don't want to see another right-handed bat to be added to the lineup because I don't know what it is, but we seem to always just need to add we trade away some people and then we go ahead and add one. Like
that's all right. We're gonna find Eloy Jimenez again. He's in the minors, I think somewhere. We're gonna find him. And we're like, that's who we want to bring back right there. Eloy Jimenez, give us that bat.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, it's yeah. I'm with you on that. Like we don't need position players enough with the position players. Good Lord, that's all we drafted. That's all we have. They're not even being called up to the big league roster because there's no room for them.
I think I saw someone during the draft. Someone tweeted out that like we took a pitcher in the 3rd round. And that was the highest during the Mike Elias era that the Orioles taking a pitcher.
Elias wouldn't take a pitcher until the 10th round. That's how it's always been. He hasn't drafted pitching at all. And
and
I thought we were going to pull the Astros thing, which is
right. The philosophy behind that is you take the best talent at whatever number you're at, and then
trade them.
Come
you
compete
trade
time.
them.
You trade them and you get your studs. You go and get your
Verlander.
You let another you let another organization develop pitching, and then you go and take their developed pitching. Like
we're not doing it. We did it in 2 trades. We said give us Corbin Burns and give us Trevor Rogers, and guess what? All those were just guys that we didn't have room for, and they lost value at some point.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, DL Hall was just injured all the time. Like that was the issue with DL Hall. Grayson Rodriguez, same thing, just injured all the time. And if there was any team that could have fixed DL Hall, it would have been the Brewers. In all honesty, he went to the best place for him to figure it all out. Like that's the best place to go. And if you can't figure it out there's not a lot left for you at that point type deal to me. That's when you go to Japan and you see if you can figure it out overseas and then come back and get a deal.
You know what DL Hall's problem was? Is he shaved the head. You can't shave your head, man. That's just go look at any sport. Any guy who makes that decision and shaves the locks, they know that they're never the same afterwards.
Well, I mean, that was the thing. He didn't want to look like a typical Orioles player.
God, you can go into football. Torrey Smith shaved the locks. They're never the same.
Well, they were never the same once the Ravens traded him. To be all honest, I mean, yeah, no, I mean, Ravens made some stupid trades with those 6-round picks. 6-round pick, Torrey Smith. 6-round pick, Anquan Bolton. Those guys are worth more than 6-round picks.
Come on. Yeah, don't get me started on the Anquan Bolton trade.
Yeah, but no, I'm hoping there's one big swing in this trade deadline for the Orioles. I want to see a controllable starter come back, signifying that we are looking to, if the CBA gets agreed upon next season at some point.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. It's like in this offseason, the winter meetings are not going to be what they usually are, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I see it's
know.
either early extensions of guys just trying to get their money now, early free agent signings of guys that just want to make sure they have the money.
Yeah.
And it's either going to be that or it's just people sitting and no movement happening whatsoever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hope that's what kicks in these CBA talks more than anything, is if people are standing pat and there's no deals being made, that players are going to want their money. And at some point, you got to come to the negotiating table and just say, what can we do so we can get our money, but also make you guys happy?
The way the ownership is talking now, especially with them putting out,
they're just not just anticipating a season whatsoever.
Oh my God, yeah, they're just like, next year is going to be a wash, like, because like the things that they're putting on the table are just beyond crazy. Like one of the last ones they put out was like, oh, we won a 5-round MLB draft, and you have to be 21 years old to be in the draft. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like,
no, they're just throwing crap at the wall. What honestly, all of the proposals they send back is they agree to like these very little things that don't mean a lot. And they're like, well, we're agreeing to terms with them here. We're thinking all of this, but it's the big stuff that is what's like. I mean, the Dodgers just proved it with that screwball trade. Like, this league is rigged at this point in the Dodgers' favor. How the heck? Why not just wait 2 more days? You can get more for screwball than that. Come on. That was just...
I don't understand. I mean, good for Google. He's probably going to go and get himself a ring before he hits the open market, and then re-signs with the Dodgers for $8 billion.
Yeah, the AL ain't putting out anything in the playoffs. Good Lord.
Yeah.
I mean, Tampa Bay's our only hope. small Tampa Bay. That's the only hope.
No, Tampa Bay are going to do their usual thing. They're going to go and they're going to win the ALS or something, and then they're going to blow it in the pennant or whatever.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I just, the AL, there ain't much we're putting out at this point. The White Sox, crazy. The White Sox, like, come on.
Yeah. They have the Pope on their side.
Oh, yeah. That's the only hope. The Pope is going to be the Pope is going to push the White Sox to beat the Dodgers. That's their only hope.
Yeah.
The White Sox are God's team. I'm calling it right now.
Yeah. Looks like we got a sloppy game in Baltimore right now. They are playing through the rain.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. So, all right, just big prediction time here. Who do you think is getting traded, and do you think we make a big splash anywhere?
I'm gonna say no on the big splash is my big prediction. One, Elias has never really made the big splash. We got Corbin Burns, but that was in the offseason. That was an offseason trade. We have never quite went out. Like even like if we go back to even like 2023 when we won 100 games, did Elias go and pull the trigger on any big names? No. And that was the year to fucking do it, right? That was the year. Even 2024, in this, even when we were like kind of sticking a little bit in the second half, that would have been a year to go out and get, some big names. So this year, is Elias going to pull the trigger on a name? No. Um, as far as getting traded, I think the obvious names that we've mentioned all episode, Ward, Tavares, and Kittredge. I also think Rogers probably will be gone. Rogers to me is the one where we'll probably get more. We'll probably get the most back, obviously, but I don't think. To me, Rogers is gonna go. I don't know what they'll get for Rogers. Hopefully, it's a good trade on our part. I'm really afraid they trade Rogers for prospects, and I just that to me is my big prediction is that Rogers goes for some, and he's going to go for some great prospects. Don't get me wrong. Like we're going to look at these guys and be like, "Fuck yeah, these guys are going to be awesome." Like that kind of thing. But I just, for me, it's like give me someone MLB ready. That's the only thing I want this trade deadline is I want either a big leaguer who's been in the MLB, who's been in the show for a bit, and that we have control over, or I want a AAA prospect who is like he's ready to be called up. You know, those are my predictions.
All right, I'm going. Kittredge gets traded for some peanuts, probably like one or two Dominican guys that we're just going to take a flyer on, or some international bonus pool money. That's the only thing I see Kittredge bringing back, in all honesty. And if we get the bonus pool money, we probably get someone that's 22 in low A ball, and just maybe at some point they become a Richard Blyers and debut at 28,
Yeah.
29. So that's what I see Kittredge bringing back. Ward, I see bringing back more failed starters in AA and AAA, either failed starters or some Tommy Hunter type bullpen arms, where it's not quite closer back end stuff, but it's like that 6th, 7th inning. I could see Ward bringing that back. That one of them may have been in the MLB for a year or two, but they struggled as a starter, and they're just coming back as a bullpen arm type deal, maybe. I see Tavares. I think Tavares probably the same, maybe just a little weaker value on the bullpen, but I can see those two guys bringing back some MLB ready bullpen type arms. Maybe they got high velocity but high ERAs and type stuff because they walk a lot of people type deal. Maybe it's just guys that there's a pedigree there, but they haven't quit. I can see those two guys bringing that back. I want to see Rogers dealt in a 3-team trade where Silent J, we finally trade. We finally trade Kerstad, trade Rogers somewhere, get prospects back, add him to Silent J and maybe somebody else, and go for Hunter Green. That's what I want to see. Or Emerson Hancock. One of those two deals. That's what I want. I think that's the way to get those guys, is it part of a Rogers trade, where it's just 3 teams kind of switching around some prospects.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I hope to see it. Michael Ives, please have the guts to do it. All right, we're going to take a quick break here, but when we come back, Chris sent something in. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to join us live for a little chat on the Nats trade deadline, but he did send something in, and he's going to give us his thoughts. So stay tuned, and when we come back, we'll hear from Chris. All right, there's still time to enter our next big giveaway of the Jim Palmer autograph card.
It is free to enter. All you have to do is head over to our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to figure out how to enter. Hopefully, we can get a winner soon. So head on over and make sure to enter.
Hey Taylor, Chris here. Sorry I can't make it on the show. I am in the middle of a very tough move, but I did want to hop on here and quickly talk about what my thoughts are for the Nationals as we head to the trade deadline. I'm recording this on August 2nd at about 3:50 p.m., so there's still one more day. Anything could happen. Maybe I look like an idiot, but I usually look like an idiot. So here, I'll do my best to talk about what the Nationals have already done and what I think they will do soon. So the Nationals have already made one trade at the deadline, trading infielder Curtis Mead to Boston for left-handed pitcher Connolly Early. And I want to talk a little bit about Curtis Mead because he has an interesting story. He's an Australian. He played Australian baseball as a teenager. He was signed as an undrafted free agent by the Philadelphia Phillies in 2018. He was traded as a minor leaguer to the Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays, in 2019 in exchange for Christopher Sanchez. Both of them missed the 2020 season because there were no minor league games played due to COVID. But Christopher Sanchez, of course, went on to debut in 2021, and he's become a star. 2024 and 2026 All-Star. He started the 2026 All-Star game for the National League. Curtis Mead... Not exactly a star at that point in his career. He had a tougher time. He did debut for the Rays in 2023, but he never really became an everyday player, and he was a below-average hitter during his seasons for the Rays. They ended up trading him at the 2025 trade deadline, along with minor league reliever Ben Peoples and minor league starting pitcher Duncan Davitt to acquire starting pitcher Adrian Hauser from the Chicago White Sox. So for the Rays, they get a top pitcher as a rental for the playoffs, and for the White Sox, they get a win-soon move because they get one guy who's already at the major league level, Curtis Mead, and then Peoples and Davitt were older prospects who seemed like they were closer to making their debut. That's not exactly what happened. The trade was kind of a disaster. Adrian Hauser was very shaky. 4.79 ERA, 1.349 WHIP in 10 starts for the Rays. For Chicago, Curtis Mead played in 41 games, but he didn't hit at all. He had a 584 OPS. Ben Peoples pitched well in the minors, but before he could make his debut in a Chicago uniform, they traded him to the Texas Rangers at the end of June in this year for an unranked prospect in the low minors. Now, the Rangers have since debuted Peoples, and he's actually been pretty good for them as a major league reliever, but the White Sox didn't get the benefit of that. And then Duncan Davitt, the third part of the trade, he made a single appearance at the major league level for Chicago in April, and he was fine, but he has pitched poorly at the AAA level. So the trade didn't really work out for either side. The White Sox didn't see Curtis Mead in their 2026 plans. So this March, they traded him to the Washington Nationals for minor league catcher Boston Smith. Nationals manager Blake Butera had managed Mead in the minors, and the hope was that getting Mead more regular playing time as the Nationals continue their rebuild would help him develop his hitting. The Nationals were absolutely right. In 87 games for the Nationals, it's not every day, but it's almost every day, Mead has an 852 OPS, including 17 home runs. He's been versatile. You can move him around the infield. He started games at first, second, and third. At the time of his trade, he was a regular at third after our original third baseman, Brady House, was demoted to AAA. He's also under team control through 2030 and is reported to be a good clubhouse guy. He seems to me, in my opinion, to be a guy who needed to make improvements to his hitting. He's made those improvements, and I think that we're going to continue to see him be an above-average hitter at the major league level moving forward. So as a Nationals fan, I'm sad to see him go because I think he's actually good. But the return is excellent. The Nationals got 24-year-old left-handed starting pitcher Connolly Early from the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox took Early in the 5th round of the 2023 draft out of UVA. Not exactly local. Charlottesville's a little bit of a ways away, but that's pretty close to local. He pitched well in the minors and made his debut at the end of the 2025 season. He had 4 starts in September 2025. They were short, but they were effective. 2026, he starts in the Red Sox rotation, and he's been pretty good. He pitched to a 3.44 ERA and a 1.255 WHIP in 17 starts. Now, he was injured at the time of the trade. He had elbow inflammation, but the buzz is that it's a minor injury. They expect him back soon, and he's also going to be under long-term control. He's under team control through 2031. And the Nationals have had a very good offense this year, one of the best in the majors, but our pitching has been terrible. And there aren't a lot of obvious reinforcements coming soon. I can't really pick one guy in the minors who I think is going to be like a stud at the major league level anytime soon. So we really needed help. Early is likely to join the rotation sooner rather than later, and he's also likely to stay there for a long time, both because he looks good and also because he's under long-term team control. He's only got 21 starts at the MLB level, and there's reason to hope he will improve as he pitches more, but he's already going to be one of the better pitchers in our rotation. It does sting to lose a guy like Curtis Mead, who seems like he's going to be an above-average everyday player, but when you see a pitcher like this available, you have to make the trade, especially considering the market for starting pitching is always super inflated. It's rare that a guy like this is available. The Nationals really couldn't say no to this offer. And I think Nationals fans are going to appreciate this trade moving forward as we start to see Early in a Nationals uniform and as we start to see, hopefully, good results for a long time. So in terms of the Nationals as a whole, there's a lot of questions surrounding whether they're going to buy or sell. The Mead Early trade is not really a sign of whether the Nats are going to buy or sell. That's kind of the stars align. You have a chance for two teams to both address a deficiency. The Nats need pitching. Boston needs a good bat. So that's sort of like a trade that you make even if you're already a good team. The Nats were supposed to be rebuilding this year, and I've talked about that in past appearances. We were supposed to be really bad, but we've actually been pretty good. We've arrived sooner than expected. Our offense has been really good, and we're around 500. As I'm recording this, we're 55 and 57. However, a lot of what makes that decision for whether you buy or sell is how the team plays moving into the deadline. And unfortunately, the Nationals have not played well moving into the deadline. They've lost 4 in a row. As I'm recording this, they're playing the Braves, and it looks like they're going to lose a 5th game in a row. So unfortunately, I think selling is more likely at this point. We do have some trade pieces. The biggest trade chip is shortstop CJ Abrams. Abrams has already had 3 good seasons in a Nationals uniform. He got a 2024 All-Star appearance. He's had 3+ BWAR each year, but he had some questions, surrounding potential deficiencies. The first is that he had a reputation for falling off in the second half of the season. The second is character concerns, and the third is his defense. The first two do not seem to have applied this year at all. He's had his best season yet, a 925 OPS in 108 games, 4.5 BWAR, and he made the All-Star team again. He seems to be playing hard and showing leadership. There's been no sign of character concerns, so that's good. His defense is still a question mark, but honestly, if you're putting up a 900+ OPS, the defensive questions, they aren't as loud. Abrams and James Wood have been the core of our offense, and our offense has been really good. I think what's most likely is that the Nationals president of baseball operations, Paul Taboni, is going to listen to offers. He's said that he's willing to listen to offers, but I don't think it's likely that they move Abrams. The Nationals have already looked pretty good this year, and it seems likely that will be even better next year, maybe even good enough to make a stronger shot at contending for the wild card. I don't think it makes sense to trade him when we can have him on the team again next year, as hopefully we enter
Oh, yeah, sorry. Just a side note, the Nationals did just lose, so that's 5 in a row. I think we're sellers. But I don't think it's likely that we move Abrams because we're close to the wild card this year. We're in contention. We're close to 500. And it's true that Abrams only has one more year of team control. But if we're playing better next year, and I think it's likely, we're really going to need his bat. So I don't think we move him unless we get like a haul of prospects. And I don't think we're going to get a haul of prospects because, like I said, CJ Abrams, his defense isn't very good. And you really only see teams shoot for the moon with a prospect package when you have a complete player. So I think he's good enough for us that his defense concerns don't matter as much. But I just don't see it likely. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I might look like an idiot in a day or two, but, we'll see what happens. Who else did the Nationals have? The second biggest trade piece is pitcher Foster Griffin. Excuse me. So you can play the tape. I knew this guy was going to be good. He has been good. He started his career as an MLB reliever. He washed out to Japan, and he basically became one of the best pitchers in the NPB. And he was really, really good in Japan. The Nationals got him for $5.5 million for a one-year deal. That is ridiculously cheap considering how good he's been. He's been excellent, 3.06 ERA, 1.075 whip. He's an interesting pitcher. He doesn't have overpowering stuff. What he does have is an overpowering mix of pitches, and he knows when to pitch them. So he's kind of a savvy toolbox pitcher, and he has enough experience that he knows how to use that to his advantage. He's been really good. I like him. I like watching him. He's been a core player, but unfortunately the reports are that we've tried to talk to him about extending his contract, and those conversations have been a total non-starter. Now that we've lost 5 in a row, now that the wild card window is closing, I think it makes the most sense for us to move him. I think Paul Taboni probably agrees, and I think it's pretty likely that we trade him in the next day. The third biggest trade piece that I want to talk about is infielder Luis Garcia Jr. Somehow he's the longest tenured player on the team. He debuted in 2020 while Max Scherzer was still pitching here. I think he's the only guy left on the roster who was here while Max was. He was meant to be our second base of the future. He got called up really young, and he just was kind of a disappointment. He wasn't bad, but if you look at his stats, he's at about the replacement level in terms of how he's been for the most part. He did have a good year in 2024, but he fell off again in 2025. Lots of questions about his discipline, about his baseball IQ, about whether he was paying attention. I know like Davey Martinez, our old manager, was frustrated with him at times, and it translated to just a player who he was supposed to be the everyday guy, but he didn't really turn into that guy. Now, Blake Butera moved him to first this year. He became a platoon first baseman, and his game has significantly improved. He has an 873 OPS in 104 games. Now, he does have strong platoon splits. He has a 918 OPS versus righties, but a paltry 627 OPS versus lefties. So he's not a complete player. He's a guy who you have to be conscious of, like, who's the starting pitcher? Where do you want him in the lineup? Do you even want to start him against the left-handed starting pitcher? But I still think there's a market for a guy like this. 918 OPS versus righties is very good. There's more right-handed pitchers at the major league level, so I think that other teams are going to see that, and they're going to want to bring him in. I will say that in terms of his discipline and his leadership, he's shown huge improvements this year. There's been no question on whether he's locked in, no question on whether he's paying attention. I like him. He's also under team control for one more year, so we don't have to move him, but I think there's a strong chance we do. Paul Taboni's number one goal has been to increase our minor league depth. He's done a good job of that already, and I think he's going to find a trade partner. I also think that Taboni and Butera have done a really good job at finding underrated platoon bats, bringing them in, and then playing them in the lineup in a way that's effective, where they can play to their strengths. So I think there's a good chance that if we do move Garcia, we'll replace him quickly. I know that Abimelec Ortiz at the AAA level, he's already had 2 at-bats at the majors. I think it's very likely that we bring him in to replace Garcia Jr. on the lineup. So those are my thoughts. I think we hold Abrams. I think we trade Foster Griffin. I think we trade Luis Garcia Jr. There's some other players, but I don't think they're going to bring much of a return. So maybe you'll see a few moves around the margins, but that's less exciting and definitely of less interest to people outside of Nationals world. But that's all I've got to share. I'm going to give it back to you. I look forward to appearing on the pod sometime soon in the future. Thanks so much for listening. This is Chris signing off.
All right, that's going to wrap up our trade deadline preview for the Orioles and Nationals. Don't forget to head over to our social media pages to enter that Jim Palmer giveaway. And also check out our interview with former big league pitcher Bud Norris. That's live on YouTube and Facebook. There's a chance we could be back sooner rather than later to talk about the trade deadline if we see any big moves happening between the Orioles, Nats, and Phillies. So stay tuned. And don't forget that Cito still sucks.